What's up YouTube? I'm Matt Behind Bars, and today I just want to take a minute to talk about why I chose my Harley Davidson Iron 883. Okay. So for those of you that saw my first video, you know that my first bike was a Honda Ruckus with a motor swap. I originally decided that I wanted a bigger bike because I wanted to be able to commute, and the Ruckus just wasn't big enough for that, both in physical size and engine displacement. It couldn't keep up with traffic, and I was worried about either driving to work in the dark or going home in the dark. I just wasn't going to be able to be seen. So requirement number one was it needed to be a bigger bike and need to be able to keep up with traffic. Also, since I was riding it every day and commuting on it, I wanted it to be something comfortable, so that kind of ruled out sport bikes for me. Not saying you can't commute on a sport bike, just I also didn't really have any need to go fast all the time, so it just didn't make sense for me to get a sport bike. I also don't really do a whole lot of off-road riding, so that kind of ruled out the dual sports and the dirt bikes. I don't really feel any need for that. Not really my thing. Nothing wrong with those, just not my style. So that basically left naked uprights and cruisers. And you can kind of split cruisers into two categories. There's like the mid-weight cruisers. Well, I guess there's lightweight cruisers too, like my 250 Yamaha that I have back in the house. And there's the mid-weight cruisers, which I'll consider my Sportster to be a mid-weight. And then you have like the big, heavy bagger cruisers. Now, since my only other experience at the time with motorcycles was my Ruckus, I didn't really want to go from a 200-pound Ruckus to an 800-pound bagger. That didn't make sense. And again, I wanted to be able to keep up with traffic on a daily commute, so the 250 Yamaha will do it, but not nearly as comfortable as a bigger bike does. So basically, when I decided I wanted a mid-level cruiser, and I looked at the Honda Rebel, I looked at the Yamaha Bolt, I looked at the Kawasaki that I can't think of the name of right now, and I looked at Sportsters. I did a lot of research when I was trying to decide what I wanted in a bike, and I had a few bikes in mind that I wanted to go look at. And I decided that I didn't really want the Honda Rebel because the biggest one they had out at the time was a 500, and I decided I want something a little bit bigger than that, that I didn't really need something that entry level, that I was comfortable enough on two wheels that I could go ahead and get something a little bigger. And one of the biggest draws to me towards the Sportster was they're not terribly expensive. They're all over the place. Like, you can get Sportsters all day. They're all over Craigslist, and they're not that expensive, especially if you're getting used, because a lot of guys get Sportsters as entry-level bikes and then ride them for a couple months or a year and then end up upgrading to a bigger bike. Another thing I liked about the Sportsters a lot was I'm the kind of guy that can't really leave something alone. Constantly tweaking and changing and modifying. I like to build things out so that they're mine and they're personalized. And with the Sportster, there is a huge third-party market. I cannot think of a single part off the top of my head right now for the Sportster that you can't get a third-party custom version of. You could probably build an entire Sportster using only third-party parts. So that's kind of neat. I like that. I like to have options. But so I was kind of leaning towards the Sportster when I was making my decision, but I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and give all these other bikes the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna go ride them. I'm gonna ride a Rebel. I'm gonna ride a Yamaha Bolt. I'm gonna ride a Sportster, and I'm gonna ride the Kawasaki that I can't think of right now. And so I decided to do the Sportster first because there's a pretty nice Harley dealership up by my parents' house, and my dad used to ride Harley, so I wanted him to come with me. So I went up there, made a day trip of it, took my dad to the Harley dealership, and from the second I threw a leg over a Sportster in their parking lot, I knew I had to have one. I knew that was my bike, and I didn't even bother test riding the other ones. I'm not saying do that. I'm definitely go ride the other bikes, because I mean, you never know what you might be missing out on. You might love one of the other bikes, but for me I didn't, and it worked out because I love my Sportster. Alright, so why else did I buy my bike? Comfort. While I'm sitting here at this light, I'm 5'10", and as you can see, I got both feet firmly planted on the ground, knees a little bent. It's a good size bike for me. It's a good fit. And I know Sportsters get a lot of hate for not being able to ride all day. I know a lot of people complain about, they say, oh yeah, after half an hour, that's about as long as you can stay on a Sportster. They're not good distance bikes. And I kind of agree to a point. I mean, I'm comfortable on mine. I'm comfortable enough that on my daily commute, I don't ever have any problems. My commute's about half an hour one way. But I wouldn't say that's the longest you can stay on a bike on a Sportster. Because I've done some longer trips. About 3 hours is about the longest I've done on my Sportster. And to be honest, that's about the longest I would want to do on a Sportster. Maybe if I got a better seat or some highway pegs, then that might let me stay on a little longer. I actually do have an Airhawk seat cushion that I haven't tried yet. I'll see if that gets me a little more seat time. But so 3 hours is about the longest I want to be on. I start to get sore around hour and a half, 2 hours. That's about the longest that I'm comfortable. But yeah, like I said, 3 hours is about the max. So anyway, I'm getting derailed. So price, availability, aftermarket parts, comfort. Oh, I almost forgot one of the most important reasons. Style. The Iron 83 is a good looking bike. I love the looks of it, and I get distracted all the time, either riding by a storefront or a fancy car with shiny paint, looking at myself in the reflection, because man, I look good on this bike. Man, I'm gonna get every single light going through town tonight, dang. So yeah, style is important. You gotta ride a bike that looks good. I mean, you don't have to. If you just need cheap transportation, you know, any bike will work, but in my opinion, you'll ride a bike a lot more if you like it. So you gotta buy something you like. Another reason I decided to get a Sportster is the reliability. Harley's been making Sportsters since like the 50s. They've been around forever, and the Evolution engine that's in my Sportster has been mostly unchanged since, I think, 1986. I'll correct that if it's wrong, but I think it was 86. Hasn't been changed the whole lot. So Harley's had plenty of time to work the bugs out of it, and it's just a really strong, reliable engine, and it just goes. Another thing I love about my Sportster is the way it sounds. I mean, listen to that rumble. It is just great. I mean, listen to this. Oh my God, traffic lights. Yeah, even just sitting here idling, it's just a great sounding bike. And granted, I do have a set of Vance & Hine pipes on it, so your stock Sportster off the factory floor isn't gonna have quite the same tone. It also won't be nearly as loud. But and everyone makes exhaust. Like I said about the third-party support, you can get an exhaust that sounds however you want it to, be as loud or as quiet as you want it to. There's tons of options. But I just love the signature Harley rumble. I chose the Iron 83 out of the rest of the Sportster lineup because I really, really like the looks of it. I like the flat black. I like the everything blacked out. I didn't think that I would miss the extra power of the 1200, and I don't. I've been riding for, like I said, a year and a half or so, and the 883 still does everything I need it to. Alright guys, I'm Matt Behind Bars, and this has been reasons why I bought a Harley Davidson Iron 883 Sportster. If those reasons sound good to you, then maybe you should get one too. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you all later.